Hello, Contrarians, listeners, watchers, subscribers. Here we are with the latest Contrarians warm up. This is for our fifth PJ party, also known as Confessions of a Shopaholic, also known as the one and only Isla Fisher vehicle in existence so far. The one time we just put it front and center. Here it is, Isla Fisher leads this movie. And it made some money, but it didn't impress critics too much.
No.
So this is rotten. That means that on the podcast, on the main feed, we're going to be saying really nice things about it before we tell you how we really feel. But here on the warm-up, we're just going to give you some Rotten Tomatoes quotes, plenty of those this time around. And we're also going to give you some extra trivia. And of course, the Josh Gad Minute, where we put Josh Gad right in the middle of this fable against consumerism, capitalism, cautionary tale.
Cautionary. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's get started, Alex. No time like the present to read what angry critics had to say about PJ Hogan's Confessions of a Shopaholic. And we're going to start with Robbie Collin from News of the World, who says, cruising into cinemas with worse timing than a Taiwanese Rolex, this chick flick about one woman racking up 5 figures of credit card debt seems less like a comedy than an epic 104-minute finger-wagging session.
Okay.
Did he feel like the message came in a little too strong? He didn't like being preached at. Is this movie preachy?
Not really. No, because we talk about in the episode, like, financial literacy evades much of the youth and I mean, me and you. It evades young people generationally. So I didn't necessarily think the message of this movie was a bad thing.
Can you imagine? What kind of person goes to watch Confessions of a Shopaholic and feels like the movie's wagging their finger at them?
Boomers.
How, yeah, I guess. How far in debt is Robbie Collin? Let us know, Robbie. Are you still in business? Next, Kelly Jane Torrance from the Washington Times says, real shopaholics should skip this one and save their money for one of those sample sales Rebecca loves so much. Do you know any shopaholics that would identify with this movie, that would go like, this movie sees me, or the opposite, that would be offended at how this movie allegedly depicts them?
No, I mean, personally, no. I mean, I'm sure there are people that felt both ways. I'm sure there's alcoholics that watch Leaving Las Vegas and we're like, we're not all like that. So it's
fuck you, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
Is this propaganda? I just like to have a drink every day.
Sometimes in the shower.
Yeah.
Sometimes after the shower. It's funny you bring up Leaving Las Vegas, because that's coming up pretty soon. But first, we have...
Fascinated to see where this goes.
We're going to go to Holly Griggs-Paul from Film 4, who says, it's a shame eBay didn't get their hand in here, but then that would have spoiled almost 2 hours of lighthearted anti-capitalist sentiment from the producer of Top Gun. Jerry Bruckheimer.
Also the director of My Best Friend's Wedding.
Doesn't matter, apparently. The main... Like, PJ Hogan making a movie against capitalism, that is not news. But Jerry Bruckheimer making a movie about how bad it is to spend money on superfluous stuff, that is the headline. That is news. Can't a man diversify his portfolio? I mean, why can't he make Top Gun and also produce Confessions of a Shopaholic? Do you have a problem with that? Do you have a problem with Jerry Bruckheimer making a romantic comedy?
No.
I mean, why not?
I assume his thought was this is something to get his hands in, just in case it is another My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yeah, it's going to make money,
but it made over $100 million. So
everybody went home happy. The author of the original novel,
except most critics that logged reviews.
Yes, those people that felt threatened by this fairly harmless Isla Fisher vehicle. You know, next time, do you wonder why we haven't had a romantic comedy starring Isla Fisher? We didn't have any more. You guys did.
That's
this.
Where the finger wagging comes in.
Exactly. That's us wagging our finger at the critics and those green splotches. I don't get the eBay part, and I guess maybe this makes more sense in the context of the full review. But when Holly says it's a shame eBay didn't get their hand in here, is she talking about just the amount of product placement in the movie? I didn't even notice product placement. I know it's happening because they mentioned the brands.
Yeah, there's tons of brands and stuff they mentioned. Yeah, I mean eBay wasn't the shiny new toy in 2009 that it was in 2000. So yeah, I don't know.
40-Year-Old Virgin. That was maybe the last time that somebody mentioned eBay in a movie.
Yeah,
Catherine Keener.
Catherine Keener, thank you. Her store is stuff that she sells on eBay. That's Jonah Hill's debut.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Nope.
I guess this movie, the climax is an auction. Holly Griggs Paul, did she want maybe Isla Fisher to put up her stuff online instead of having the sale? Right, it's not the same. It's
Yeah.
not as interesting visually.
There's
or
no theater in that.
Yeah, no. You need to have them touching the items. We are going to close with James Rocci from, okay, he's not from Redbox. This is probably the review that he wrote on his Redbox account or something. I think Redbox is a publication, the host reviews. But anyway, James Rocci says, at the Confessions of a Shopaholic advanced screening I attended, there was a fashion show before the movie sponsored by a local boutique. To me, it was like watching someone do exhibition drinking games before a screening of Leaving Las Vegas. Is that in poor taste?
No. It had been 20 years since that movie had come out at that point, so I think it was fair game.
Oh, not that. Having this sort of invitation for people to purchase a whole bunch of stuff before a movie, that is.
That's like having like a pool party at the premiere of Spring Breakers or something. It's just like, you paying attention to the message of this movie?
Yeah. Like,
that is the same thing. That's like, you should pay attention to this movie because it's about you. You guys out here buying all this shit.
Too drunk to get it.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, Spring Break forever. Alamo Drafthouse presents.
Poor taste, no, because at the end of the day, this is a romantic comedy that has a bit of an interesting theme or story about it, message, as it were.
It would have been more appropriate if it was secondhand stuff. If it was like a garage sale, and it's like thrift stores coming together and just setting up shop in the lobby of the theater or whatever. That would make sense. And people that didn't think it makes sense, then obviously hadn't read the book or didn't know what the movie was about. Anyway, that was the end of the quotes, Alex. Before we go to trivia, let's put Josh Gad in the thing. It's the Josh Gad Minute, where we replace one of the actors or actresses in the movie with Contrarians mascot, Josh Gad. What are you thinking?
Yeah, there's a couple places he could fit in here. Thinking the Ryan Koenig character, Fred Armisen, replacing Fred Armisen with Josh Gad as the middle management dickhead, Luke Brandon's boss.
Perfect.
Picture Josh Gad playing that virtual golf game where he's in his office, his high-rise office, and he's teeing off there, and he's like, shit, sliced it. Josh Gad could fit in there pretty well. Could be why am I blanking on the word?
Boyfriend?
No, it's not secretary. Why am I blanking on the receptionist at
that's the one I thought of. Yeah.
At the magazine, the building that operates, and he helps stir the pot. He helps drive the plot along because he tells Isla Fisher this place is interviewing. So, and he comes back in the end to help promote the resale. Or you could go lastly with he could be Derek Smythe. And the reveal of Derek Smythe would actually be like, oh shit.
In all fairness, I mean, that's the thing that would make the most sense, just because neither of us was too hot on that performance. So
could also do it in a way where if he talks a little grumbly or has a little gravel in his voice, you could make it still a surprise to where, because Josh Gad is good at voices. I mean, we've seen this he's literally a Disney character. I think he could disguise it to the point where it's a reveal. It is really like, oh shit. That, or you do the one and done where he's one of the members at the support group. He's one of the people at the Shopaholics Anonymous meeting that has like a story to tell.
I mean, he could replace the lady from Just Shoot Me and be the leader.
Yeah.
The replacement leader. Alex, we could go wild though. If we wanted to really push the envelope here, and
he could be Kristen Ritter's boyfriend.
Oh, that guy doesn't do anything though.
Well, I'm just saying. All right. Well,
he does.
What's wild Ritter, for you?
Wild is like you get a lot of you get old man makeup on him, and he replaces either Lithgow or Goodman.
I don't know if I'm on board with this.
Goodman would be the toughest, because Lithgow, technically, he can be anybody, right? Like, it doesn't have to be an older man. Obviously, it's easier to buy him as the head of the corporation if he's an older man, but it could be one of these wonder kids that runs the corporation and he's really young. That's actually kind of funny that to have somebody that's Josh Gad's age just bossing around everybody else. So that could be, he gets a couple of good scenes, but you lose Lithgow. But then, I mean, just as bad, I guess, it would be to lose John Goodman. But just the fun of
John
seeing Josh
Greatman.
Gad, yeah. But you have him play older, and I just I'm curious to see if could he convince me that he is Isla Fisher's father.
Yeah, that might be asking a lot, my friend, of the Gad. But I mean, if there's someone who could do it,
Andy Serkis convinced me that he was an ape in 3 movies, so I think maybe Josh Gad can convince me that he's a man in his 60s. I guess, however old Goodman Greatman was when this movie was made.
to be fair, you can get loosey goosey with that because I was reading Isla Fisher is only 14 years younger than Joan Cusack, who played her mom, and it's not supposed to be like a flashy teen pregnancy type thing.
Right.
She's supposed to be middle aged.
It did make me wonder at the beginning of the movie when we were just seeing Isla Fisher when she's a little girl. She has that flashback at the beginning, and you see Joan Cusack. And I was like, "That's Joan Cusack," and she looks kind of like Joan Cusack. It's not like they gave her the CGI youth treatment or anything. So I was wondering, are they going to really age her up when we get to the present? And they don't really, but you just gotta go with the story. I was like,
the moral of this story is Josh Gad could fit in many places in this movie. This isn't one of the movies we've done where there's really only one or two spots where you can slot him in, if I can say that correctly. There's a lot of room for opportunity here.
Honestly, he could play the shopaholic and it would still work. I mean, we would lose out on, as I keep saying, the one Isla Fisher leading performance, but this is that type of movie where it's just bubbly and very silly and happy. And it's like, yeah, put all of there anywhere.
Yeah.
He can be Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks. He can play multiple roles. Just confessions of a gutaholic. That's it for Josh Gad Minute. We've given you plenty of options. Choose your own adventure. Choose your own Gad. Now let's move on to trivia.
Confessions of a Shopaholic, directed by PJ Hogan, based on 2 chick lit novels, as we discover that term in real time in the episode. Novels by Sophia Kinsella. This was based on Confessions of a Shopaholic and Shopaholic Takes Manhattan. I think we found there were 8 of these in total, these books.
So far.
Released on February 13th of 2009, the same day as the recently covered Friday the 13th of 2009 that we went all in on. Budget of 44 million, box office return of a little bit under 110 million. So again, not the 300 million of My Best Friend's Wedding, but still nothing to shake a stick at. I would like that money.
I just realized, Alex, Illegally Yours opened the same weekend as one of the Friday 13th, right? You made the joke. You said that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. For a second, I was confusing what we were talking about. Yeah, it was the New Blood.
So both of our subjects from the summer have gone against Jason Voorhees.
Have gotten trounced by Jason Voorhees. This did not get trounced by it. It did get beat out the first weekend, but as history will show you, the first weekend of those movies are always the best by a large margin. According to DVD commentary, John Lithgow turned down the role of Edgar West twice before accepting it. Fred Armisen was approached for the role after Lithgow initially turned it down, but after Lithgow changed his mind, the Ryan role was written for Armisen.
They created that character for Armisen.
Yeah, I mean, once you got Freddie Arm, man, the racially ambiguous superhero that is Fred Armisen, you gotta make do. Ed Helms was cast as Derek Smythe, but scheduling conflicts prevented him from taking the role. He shot the Garrett role in one day, which makes sense.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Man, what could have been? Can you see Ed Helms as... I mean, I thought that was going to be the case. I said it on the episode. I thought that was going to be the big reveal, but I think the movie gets a little classier if you have Ed Helms playing the debt collector. Scheduling conflicts with what? The Office, right?
Probably The Hangover.
Oh, okay. He made the right call. Either way, he made the right call.
Filming took place in New York, Connecticut, and Florida from January to May of 2008. To change the ending to be more sympathetic to audiences during the time of recession, reshoots took place in New York City on November 24th and 28th, 2008. It seems as though they already read the tea leaves and
Yeah.
knew like how this was going to be received, and try to do what they can to kind of change it up.
So what's the original ending?
She doesn't learn anything, just buys a new dress.
Yeah, she was.
She marries John Lithgow, and he becomes like the sugar daddy.
Yeah.
The novel is set in London. The movie changed to New York City to connect with an American audience following the success of Julio.
Sex and the City, I would guess.
Yep, this was seen as a selling point for female audiences.
Nature fills a void. That's what we say.
Dame Kristen Scott Thomas, known comedic actress, revealed in 2014 that she didn't like the experience of filming. I thought it would be quite good fun, but I spent my entire time waiting. I hated it, hated it, hated it, and I said that I wouldn't do another one. Funnily enough, I haven't been asked to. There you go.
Does she know that they didn't make any more of them?
I wonder if she's referencing romantic comedies.
Okay, well, also, I'm sorry, ma'am, but the genre kind of died. So
Yeah.
she's waiting by the phone, hoping to be in the next. What's the Jennifer Lawrence one that just came out?
No
No
hard
Hard
feelings.
Feelings. Yeah, she could
She
have played
said
best
that
friend.
went on to make Only God Forgives. I would very much like to hear what her experience on that was like.
They didn't make her wait. She was always at the top of the call sheet. All her scenes were shot first.
Gosling hated his experience on that one. I had to wait for this dame, man.
Do you know / remember that Kristen Scott Thomas is in the first Mission Impossible?
I do. I haven't seen that in forever, but she's a talented actress.
Yes.
It's just kind of odd that she is the outlier here. Isla Fisher researched her role by visiting some overspend under-earner groups, people whose lives have essentially become unmanageable because of their compulsive shopping. It is weird that she did like some role study for this in that way. As I don't, other than just having like the sensitivity to it, I don't know how that is really shown in her character in this.
She called, the actor's studio. He said, "Can you give me some pointers?" Talk to De Niro, Jeremy Irons.
Phoned Daniel Day-Lewis and was just like, "Listen, this is what's coming down the pipe.
What do you recommend? Do I let them call me Isla when they yell cut, or do you just stick with Rebecca the entire time?"
Reese Witherspoon, Jessica Alba, Jessica Biel, Anne Hathaway, Amy Adams, Emily Blunt, Kirsten Dunst, Katie Holmes, Amanda Bynes, Rachel McAdams, Amanda Seyfried, and Lindsay Lohan were all considered for the role of Rebecca. Reese Witherspoon specifically turned it down because she thought it was too similar to her Legally Blonde role, which is very fair.
Yeah.
And by this point, she was an Oscar winner. She won 2 Oscars?
No, just one, right?
She won for Walk the Line, but she was nominated again, right, for that movie Wild?
Oh, God, you're right. I think so. But I don't think she won. No.
Well, still, she was
too
high up at this point, yeah.
She was not doing any more romantic comedies. That's a pretty good list. I also feel like that's a very safe list. That's a list that you get, you're casting Confessions of a Shopaholic and you just brainstorming. And it's like, yeah, these are like the first 10, 15 names that come to mind right away. I'm kind of glad they went with Isla Fisher because she was due.
Yes.
Like, let's see if we can really make it happen after Wedding Crashers. And I mean, to an extent they did. So I think that the role went to the right person. But I mean, I'll be lying if I told you that I didn't think that I think all of those people you listed would be able to pull it off. I think I've seen them all be really funny.
Emily Blunt is a very underrated comedic actress. I think she could do really well with that. And then to bring it home here, we talk about in the episode that Isla Fisher's performance generated good reviews and she was nominated for Choice Movie Actress in a Comedy at the 2019 Choice Awards. So, of course, we're going to dip into this and see who she was up against, what else was up that year. So let's see here.
Let's see how many nominations Friday the 13th got.
It won the Choice Movie Horror Thriller. Oh, sacrilege, beating out Drag Me to Hell.
That's a good movie.
It is.
It doesn't
much
have
better than Friday the 13th.
Doesn't have your stupendous boy, Hoyt
Ambrose.
Hoyt Ambrose.
The choice movie action went to X-Men Origins Wolverine, so that should give you an insight into how
Ooh,
legitimate these awards are.
yeah.
Listen, it beat out Star Trek, the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and Taken,
How?
and Terminator Salvation. Yeah, it's better than Terminator Salvation.
What?
You heard me. Write it down.
Oh man.
All right. These are incredible, dude. Choice movie drama went to Twilight, beating out Angels and Demons, Obsessed, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and Slumdog Millionaire. Oh, that is so awesome.
2 of those movies are part of Contrarians canon.
It used to be better. I can't say this enough. But what we're talking about here, Confessions of a Shopaholic, was nominated for Choice Movie Romance, which also lost to Twilight. Twilight just cleaning house this year.
You shouldn't be able to double dip that way. You are
No.
either a drama or romance. You got to pick a lane there.
That's why the Golden Globes exist, man.
Yeah.
And in the drama role, both Arpat and Kristen Stewart took that home. So, what lost to Twilight, you ask?
Mhm.
Alongside Confessions of a Shopaholic, also nominated was He's Just Not That Into You, previously covered on the Contrarians. Australia, never to be covered on the Contrarians. And The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. Who puts this shit together, man?
The Squeakquel.
In the realm of choice movie bromantic comedy, the nominees were Tropic Thunder, Role Models, Pineapple Express, I Love You Man. All lost out, and this isn't even funny. This makes me want to cry.
Wait, you said romantic comedy?
Bromantic
Oh,
comedy.
bromantic. Okay, that makes more sense.
Tropic Thunder, Role Models, Pineapple Express, and I Love You Man lost to Marley and Me.
I appreciate that they consider Marley a bro.
A bro.
Yeah.
I just think about that movie sometimes and get sad. It's one of those movies.
I've never seen it. I wouldn't be able to get through it.
It's yeah. I can't talk about it. It's like Sling Blade. I'm just going to start tearing up if I do. And Isla Fisher losing out in the category of choice movie actress comedy to Anne Hathaway for Bride Wars. She was nominated alongside Kate Hudson for Bride Wars. So they had the Kate Hudson once again getting the twofer, much like she did for Almost Famous at the Academy Awards alongside Frances McDormand. Jennifer Aniston for He's Just Not That Into You, and Amy Adams for Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. Is that when she played
Amelia Earhart?
The Earhart, yes,
Yeah.
the pilot. I'm just going to say the pilot, and that could mean many things. But God, there is just an endless amount of awards here. Just keeps going and going. Anyway.
It's pretty adorable that whoever's in charge of the online history of Isla Fisher, they felt compelled to put this as part of the trivia
lore
for
of this movie.
Yeah. Just so you know, she was not snubbed everywhere.
So the summer comedy, choice summer movie comedy, Up wins, beating out Bruno, Funny People, The Hangover in year one. What is the message we're sending here, folks? And then the summer romance was The Proposal, which beat out I Love You, Beth Cooper, My Life in Ruins, The Ugly Truth, and away we go. How is that a romance movie?
I mean, there is a couple at the center of it, isn't it?
I guess, but that's like hipster Revolutionary Road, that movie is. The difference is obviously there's a happy ending, but unbelievable. The hosts were the Jonas Brothers, and just an absolutely star-studded affair with presenters ranging from, we had Shailene Woodley, George Lopez, Josh Duhamel, Kim Kardashian, Miley Cyrus, Marlon Wayans, Vanessa Hudgens, Dane Cook, if you weren't aware that this was the late 2000s, and definitely not today.
Musical performances
by the Jonas Brothers. Sean Kingston, the Black Eyed Peas played I Got a Feeling, again, put you in a time frame, and Miley Cyrus played Party in the USA, which is, of course, we just recently passed the 4th of July. I make it very clear every year that Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen is not a patriotic anthem, but Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus definitely is.
And nothing can stop you from playing them back to back. If that's how you roll, that's how you roll. Man, that's a shame. I hope that somewhere in the internet there is just a complete taping of this ceremony, so you can just experience it beginning to end. And
There was a while back. There started to be a swell of people uploading in full, like commercials and all, like the original broadcast of MTV Movie and Video Music Awards. So I think the time and the wind is right for someone to start cataloging in their entirety the Teen Choice Awards.
as AI takes over current output of art, movies, awards, what have you, we'll go even further back in treasuring, protecting our past. They can't take away the old awards shows from us. That's
No.
the message. And I think that's something that Isla Fisher would agree with in
I
Confessions
was
of a
about to say, I
Shopaholic.
think that's the perfect note to end on, and this condemnation of capitalism and the cautionary tale of addiction.
So that's it. We have a full episode on Confessions of a Shopaholic, Contrarians Corner, where we say really nice things about it, but we may not mean it. And then Real Talk, we tell you how we really feel. We have one more PJ Hogan movie to go, but that is not what we're covering next. So the PJ Hogan movie is Mental. That's our last PJ party. Check it out. We'll be there in a little bit, but right away we're doing our final Bogdano film. She's funny that way. Is that right? Okay, cool. It's like there's a lot of Bogdano film knowledge in my head right now, and we're
Yes.
recording way in advance. So she's funny that way. That's coming up next. Our final Bogdano film on the main feed. Check it out. It's
Imogene Poots, remember her?
yes. I couldn't tell you from what movie. I remember the name. She's a very distinctive name.
Hmm.
What I know about this movie is that, well, one, it's the last movie, the last theatrical release he had.
Yep.
And so it's very fitting that that's the last movie of his we're covering. And also Tatum O'Neal is in the movie. I don't know if she has a big part or a small part, but that's kind of like a big deal because, we love Paper Moon. We were divided about
It,
Nickelodeon, but she's good in it.
it's a big ensemble cast, which I know that's not like something new for Peter Bogdanovich, but it's a modern movie, so it's a lot of faces that you'd be familiar with from the past 20 years.
That's one of the things I've been kind of itching for as we were moving forward in the timeline. I'm like, what's it look like when Peabog has to work with the people that we know as contemporary actors like right now? So maybe this will answer that question. But anyway, check it out. Watch those movies. Watch Confessions of a Shopaholic if you haven't yet, and it's on Disney Plus. Wouldn't have guessed it, but yeah, there it is. And then listen to the show.
Capitalism, baby.
Yes.
Disney said 20th Century Fox, we got credit cards with no limit on it.
So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to the show, and we'll talk to you again soon.